So, do you remember this iPad? Over a year ago, I did a very similar video starring this exact iPad. And honestly, you all seem to love that video. So today, I thought it was time to reevaluate the list and see if these unsupported iPads are still fit for purpose another year down the line. And more importantly, see if we can keep even more iPads out of the waste trash bins. Just because Apple stops supporting a device doesn't mean it suddenly becomes useless. So, before we go into the list, let's remind ourselves of the iPad specs I have here. This is an A1460 16GB model, which was released in November 2012. So this iPad is now around 13 years old, and the last supported update was iOS 10.3.4, which was all the way back in September 2016. And honestly, it still works great. So, now that's out of the way, let's get into it. Oh, and you're going to love the last one. It's my favourite. First up, turn it into a gaming tablet for kids. This is honestly one of the best uses for an unsupported iPad. As long as a game was released before the iPad stopped being supported, you can usually download the last compatible version of that game. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but it just says the app isn't supported and won't let me download it. This usually happens if you've never downloaded the app before. So here's a workaround. If you have a newer Apple device, an iPhone or a newer iPad, download the app on that device first, making sure you're signed into the same Apple ID. Once you've done that, the app will appear under purchased apps on the unsupported iPad, and then it will allow you to download the last supported version for that device. So there you go. Load it up with games, hand it to the kids, and suddenly that old iPad has a whole new purpose without risking your newer tech with little fingers. Up next, really simple but an effective one. Turn your unsupported iPad into a bedside or sideboard clock. There are some really nice looking digital clock apps still available that work perfectly on the older versions of iOS. Big numbers, minimalist design, night modes, the lot. And there are even cases designed specifically to make the iPad look like a clock, so it actually fits in with your room instead of looking out of place. Stick it on a bedside table, kitchen counter, or desk, and you're all good to go. Another great use idea is a digital picture frame. There are apps that let you display photos from your camera reel, connect to Facebook profiles, or even allow friends and family to send photos directly to the app. The images then cycle automatically, just like a dedicated digital photo frame. And once again, you can get frame-style cases that make the iPad look like a proper photo frame, perfect for a living room, hallway, or office. It's a great, nice way to bring old devices back into daily use. Now, this one sounds obvious, but it's important. Surfing the internet. For a lot of people, this is all they actually need. Browsing websites, reading articles, checking emails, online shopping. In most circumstances, unsupported iPads still handle this perfectly fine. If you want a casual browsing device for the sofa or the kitchen, an old iPad still absolutely does the job. This next one is for you content creators out there. You can turn your old iPad into a teleprompter. There are apps available that display scripts clearly, and you can buy special stands and mounts that position the iPad exactly where you need it, right next to your camera. If you're recording videos, presentations, or live streams, this is brilliant use for an unsupported iPad. The next one is pretty simple. Watching YouTube. Even though you can't use the dedicated YouTube app, you can still use YouTube through Safari, just like you would on a normal computer. Videos still play fine, comments still load, and for casual watching, it works surprisingly well. So how can I save this laptop and use it for many years to come? Now, most of the time So yes, YouTube is still very much usable on older iPads. Music players are also still usable on older iPads. For example, surprisingly, the Spotify app still works fine on mine, meaning I can still listen to all of my playlists, create new playlists, etc. I did have to download the last compatible version, but it works great. This was particularly helpful recently at my wife's birthday party. Instead of leaving my expensive iPad or have the inconvenience of our phones having to be plugged in at the venue, I used this iPad and it pumped out music the whole night. All right, this one is my favorite and what I use mine more for mostly, an additional monitor for your computer. I use an app called Splashtop X Display. I personally use the free version, and for what I need, it works perfectly fine. Yes, the latency is slightly higher than the paid version, but for reading chat while streaming, moving YouTube videos over to watch, or having Discord or Notes open, it works absolutely fine and does the job well. I won't go into detail how to install it in this video because I've already covered that in a previous video. I'll put that in the top corner and I'll also link it in the description below if you are interested. So guys, thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video and hopefully I've convinced you to save your iPads for a little bit longer and keep them out of the e-waste pile. Let me know in the comments below, what do you currently use your unsupported iPad for? Or after watching this, what do you now plan to do with it? If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. And if you want more tech tips, tricks, and reviews, consider hitting that subscribe button. And I'll see you all in the next one.